Hi, everybody. Doug here with Doug Reports. What is going on with US Bank and specifically their credit cards? So, to bring you up to speed, a little over a week ago, the website Doctor of Credit posted a rumor that said all of the US Bank Flex Perks cards were going to be discontinued on March 9th. And most of that rumor has already proven to be true. Because if you go to the US Bank website today, we're past March 9th. This is the 11th day I'm filming it. The US Bank Flex Perks travel card is gone, and the Flex Perks Plus card, I think it was called the Select Plus card, are gone. Now, the US Bank Flex Perks Gold remains, but the rumor is it's going away in about a month or so as well. Unconfirmed at this point. Last night, I did a video about a survey that US Bank sent out asking current Altitude Reserve card holders if they preferred the current version of the card or a proposed or hypothetical new version. I did a separate video on that, and I'll put a link in the description box or up here in the corner. You can check that out. My opinion was that it would be a negative if US Bank were to implement those proposed changes on their current Altitude Reserve Visa card. So now, as of yesterday, there's a new article on Doctor of Credit that says US Bank to launch 2 new Altitude cards on March 30th. And there's a little bit of updated information on potential sign-up bonuses. As of right now, I would consider this to be a rumor. However, the last rumor came true, and this article does include some screenshots that make it look like there's marketing material. So I think where there's smoke, there's fire. Props to Doctor of Credit. I'll also link their article in the description box. I'm sure they'd appreciate it if you check that out. Again, remember that as of now, these are rumors, but let's see what happens. On this channel, I talk about credit rewards and travel for the average Joe or average Jane and how to maximize those rewards. If that sounds interesting, please subscribe to the channel and please smash the thumbs up button. Let's dive into the details. The first of the proposed new cards from US Bank is the Altitude Go card. I don't know what it'll look like, but the image I saw kind of looked red, so there's my thought what it might look like. The Altitude Go has no annual fee. It has a credit of a $15 free month of streaming. Now, we aren't exactly sure what this means. The Doctor of Credit article speculated that it meant you'd get 1 month a year where you can get a $15 credit towards streaming services. You have to use it all at once in that month. But regardless, more importantly, the categories for the Altitude Go card would be 4x on dining and takeout and 2x on grocery, gas, and streaming. Presumably 1x on everything else. That's pretty exciting. That's a pretty powerful no annual fee card. It rivals, for example, the Wells Fargo Propel card. A little better on dining, not quite as good on grocery, gas, and streaming, but depending on how you spend, definitely could be a good card. The second proposed US Bank card is the Altitude Connect card, which looked kind of bluish in the pictures. Don't know what that'll look like. This card featured a $95 annual fee. The rumor was that fee would be waived in year number 1. And a $30 free month of streaming, same as before. Presumably that means you have to use it all at once. But more importantly, what are the categories? The Connect features 5x on prepaid hotels and rental cars, so that would be through the US Bank portal. 4x on travel and gas, even if you don't use the portal. And then 2x on grocery, takeout, dining, and streaming. So again, pretty powerful cards there to take a look at. Let's move on and just briefly review the Altitude Reserve as it is right now. Again, we don't know if this is going to change or not. The current Altitude Reserve is a Visa Infinite card. It features a $400 annual fee, not waived in the first year, but there is a $325 travel credit that's really easy to use. I've already used mine on a sleep-in Arizona, so you don't have to go through their portal or anything like that. So that gives you an effective annual fee of $75 if you're going to be traveling at least a little bit every year and putting it on this card. There's 12 GoGo Wi-Fi passes. There's 12 Priority Pass lounge visits, and that's broken up 4 for you and 4 for 2 guests, so 12 overall. There's primary car rental coverage And here's the categories. They just added 5x on prepaid hotels and rental cars through their portal. Now, note there is sometimes no inflation, sometimes there is some inflation in the US Bank travel portal based on what I'm seeing. Maybe I'll go into more detail at some point. I know Waller's Wallet did a detailed video on that too, so check his out. 3x on travel and 3x on mobile wallet purchases. So purchases made with your Altitude Reserve on Apple Pay, Google Pay, or Samsung Pay. So there are some unanswered questions that'll kind of make all the difference. And I'd like to remind you, as of now, these are rumors, despite how accurate the rumor seems like it might be. One question I would have is, can you have multiple Altitude cards? Can you make a trifecta or a duofecta out of this? That'll make a big difference. Will the reserve change? Right now, important things that I could see changing would be the 1.5x boost on travel. Obviously, if that goes away, that's just about a deal breaker for me in terms of having the Altitude Reserve. Will the travel credit change? We saw in the survey that was sent out, it was proposed to change from a $325 general travel credit to 2 credits of $250 that you can use to add up to $400, I think. In other words, you pick 400 of the two 250s to use, but they're more restrictive. One you have to use in their portal, one is only for bed and breakfasts and Airbnb, that kind of thing. So that would be a negative change in my mind. Thirdly, will the annual fee change? Will it go from $400 up to $500 or something like that? That could be a negative change. All those things have to be taken into consideration. And probably the most important question is, if you do have more than one of these Altitude cards, are the points going to be transferable? Could you go from the Go card and then transfer it over to your Altitude Reserve to get that 1.5 boost? That would make things really powerful. So let's explore that hypothetical. In the best case scenario, I've made a little US Bank Altitude trifecta over there on the right. Bear with me, I'm not a graphic artist. So hypothetically, multiple cards? Yes, you can get multiple cards in this scenario. Hypothetically, the reserve stays exactly the same, and hypothetically, transferable points equal yes. So if that's the case, then with this trifecta, if you spend your money on travel, you would have these effective rates. You would have 7.5x on prepaid hotels and cars, which you just have to check to see if there's inflation. That might be worth it or not. You would have 6x on dining, gas, and travel. Whoa, that would be amazing. That seems possibly even overpowered. You would have 4.5x on mobile wallet, which is the same as what you have right now just from the Altitude Reserve, and then 3x on grocery. And since the Altitude Reserve and the Altitude Connect have an annual fee, but the Go does not, that would all be for an effective annual fee of $170. Now, I'm assuming you would use the $325 credit at least once a year, or I guess every year, since it is only once a year, in order to get that effective annual fee. If that was the case, this would easily become the most powerful credit card trifecta out there for people who don't want to transfer points over to outside travel partners. So this would become basically the best trifecta by a long shot for people who travel some or on an intermittent basis, or people who travel a lot. They just don't want to mess with travel partners. They just want to be free agents and do it all themselves. It would be my best trifecta if this was real. But I will admit it does seem too good to be true. I just think it's too powerful, and I'm guessing something's probably going to get cut. So I have some concerns about the thing being cut being the 1.5x on travel. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if that goes away. Or if they don't do that, they might make it so that the points are non-transferable, which would probably be more in line with current credit cards. I have a concern about devaluation without warning, which, according to many data points shared online, was done on the existing Flex Perks cards. They discontinued them for new applicants, but people who already have them found out that it went from a 1.5x modifier on travel down to a 1x modifier on travel with no advanced warning, or maybe only a day or two's advanced warning. US Bank, a lot of people have said, is known for good customer service, so that would be really poor showing if they did that on the Altitude Reserve as well. As of right now, that's not the case with the Altitude Reserve. Let's all cross our fingers and hope that it doesn't change. But if it does change, at a bare minimum, they give us like 4 to 6 months advance lead so we can book travel now and not have to tangibly experience an unannounced devaluation. As for my thoughts, if it's the best case scenario, I'm going to get all 3 cards. I already have the reserve. If it's not the best case scenario, I'll probably get the Go anyway, going back to that one, because it's no annual fee and it has 4x on dining, which beats the Wells Fargo Propel, at least as a standalone without transferring to airline partners. So let me know what you think. Do you think that the best case scenario might happen? Do you think the rumors are just plain wrong? Or do you think it's going to be something in the middle? Maybe the 1.5 boost goes away or something like that. I would, again, really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing a lot of Altitude Reserve coverage over the next few days and weeks because that's just where I'm at right now. And I really appreciate it if you click the thumbs up button. Thanks for watching, folks.